I'm hoping this works.
Yeah, good luck.
Hoping this works. And it did.
Yeah, good luck.
So we are now live. This works.
All right, we might have a little feedback, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, good luck. So we are now live. Okay.
So we're ready to go, Mark?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Bring the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the April 14th meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval.
All right.
I will second.
All right. It's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously approved. All right. The new business is Westminster Station. Mr. Depot?
Okay, let me start this up. For you, a site development plan 72116 Westminster Station Phase 2. This is an amendment to site plan for Westminster Station. The applicant is requesting to amend the site plan approval is requesting amended site plan approval. And I'm losing my screen. I'm sorry. To construct a 36,762 square foot retail center and a 4,936 square foot freestanding restaurant at 275 Baltimore Boulevard. And you can see that on the screen right now. The property is Zone B business zone. The proposed uses are permitted uses in this district. Again, the subject property is 275 Baltimore Boulevard. According to 2116, the total area of the site is 8.3380 acres, and the total developed area is 5.2088 acres. The property is located along Baltimore Boulevard, approximately 665 feet north of the North Center Street Baltimore Boulevard intersection, and that's here, and north of and adjacent to the existing Westminster Station Shopping Center Phase 1. Which was approved by the commission on October 11th, 2018. The site that is being developed was previously approved as part of that October 11th approval with site development plan S186. It was initially approved for a car dealership. This is the site plan today. As mentioned, you can see the retail center, which is broke up into 4 different suites, essentially, and the proposed restaurant has access to the adjacent Westminster Phase 1. There is no direct access onto 140 for this phase. It is all access through the Phase 1 development. There is a right in, right out on 140 to Phase 1 and also access onto North Center Street. I just want to point some things out. There's existing sidewalk along 140. It's hard to see, but it ends essentially in this location. Can you see my cursor? Okay, thank you. And it does extend all the way along 140 to the intersection and then also extends along North Center Street. So again, we have the retail center and the proposed restaurant, obviously the parking area. Right now, some things to point out. You can notice that the drive aisle on the north portion or along 140 is in line with the phase 1 development. But if you look closely, that the second bay or second drive aisle, it is skewed a little from phase 1 to phase 2. The phase 2 building is set back a little bit more than the phase 1 building, and proposing more parking along the front area. I won't go into the details of that. I've talked to the applicant. He'll go into details of why the building had to be set back and the difference between these two phases. Just a touch on the 2016 development design manual requirements, specifically to the building elevations. Let me get to this. The DCPD did work with Outback Steakhouse, the proposed 4,936 square foot freestanding restaurant. So now you do know it is an Outback, to ensure the design and architectural elevations comply with the design preference manual. We believe that in conjunction with the applicant and Outback Steakhouse, such efforts produced a far better design and architectural elevations that are consistent with the development design manual. The following design and architectural elevations are of the proposed 38,517 square foot retail center. This is building 2 on the site plan. And you'd probably notice that these elevations are consistent with the phase 1 elevations that are existing today that were approved as part of that site plan S186 by the Planning Commission. Landscaping, I'm not going to touch too much on this. The landscaping either meets or exceeds the requirements. You can see the provided along 140 and to the rear of the site and throughout the parking field. There are 3 outstanding issues with this site. The first is, and they're all related to modifications that do require Planning Commission review and approval. So the first is the modification to the development design manual, whereby the architecture for a dumpster, the enclosure for the dumpster should match the architecture of the building itself. So if the building's brick, the enclosure should be equally brick. But however, the applicant is proposing a 6-foot tall white vinyl fence around the dumpster, and this does match the Westminster Phase 1 site plan. Again, the site plan was approved by the Planning Commission in the past for the same type of enclosure, the vinyl fence. They do have landscaping that goes around and helps soften the view. And as the applicant pointed out, there's not much view from these dumpster locations from any public way. You really have to be in the site and really to the back of the site to notice these dumpster locations. And again, I'll have the applicant explain a little bit more about that. And this is the primary location. You can see the dumpsters and the white fence extending around it. This is behind building 2, right at the corner of building 2. Phase 1 would be in this area. So again, it's blocked by phase 1, and also it doesn't have a good view from North Center Street. And obviously 140 is blocked by the building. The second outstanding issue is the building mounted sign of 125 square feet. And this is primarily the sign for the 17,838 square foot tenant space of the retail center building. That's that large suite area that's centrally located in building 2. And this does require Planning Commission approval because it is over 64 square feet. And the Planning Commission can approve anything over 64, but no greater than 125 square feet. And this is the proposed sign. And this isn't unlike any other large tenant anchors that we have within the city that have a larger sign for them. You probably see this up and down 140. And the third outstanding issue is the freestanding sign of 114.4 square feet for the property. This also, again, requires commission approval because it is over the 64 square feet, but under the 125 feet that the commission can approve. And this is the proposed freestanding structure. Phase 1 and phase 2 are both on separate parcels, so they each get a freestanding sign. And you'll see that the phase 2 freestanding sign is similar to what was approved by the Planning Commission and is existing today in phase 1. So Department of Community Plan Development recommends that the commission review and consider approval of 1, a modification to the Development Design Preference Manual to allow the 6-foot white vinyl fence along the dumpsters. 2, a proposed building mounted sign of 125 square feet for the 17,838 square foot center tenant space. And 3, for the proposed freestanding sign of 114.4 square feet. Furthermore, the department recommends that the commission consider conditional approval of the proposed amended site development plan S2116 Westminster Station Phase 2 with the following conditions. Address all outstanding city and county comments prior to submission of signature set Mylars. And 2, and this is an added one, I'm sorry I did not bring this up a little bit earlier, but I'll backtrack real quick. To use the drive-through lanes, use of the drive-through lane shall be for pickup service only and shall not be used for ordering. And if I can real quick, it's in this location. There's a drive-through lane potentially for this, most likely a restaurant use. This is similar to the drive-through lane we have over here for Blaze Pizza existing today. And again, the point I'm trying to make is that these are for pickup. When Blaze Pizza, there's an order, the applicant or the person gets a notification, the customer, and they come and pick it up. They are not ordering like a McDonald's or Starbucks and then waiting in line to get their order. This is solely for pickup. And the reason for this and the concern that staff has, if you can imagine if a Starbucks was here or a use like that, the queuing lane that only allows for 6 vehicles in both locations would extend out into the drive aisles. As Blaze Pizza operates today, and the applicant can talk about this, you may see at the most 2 vehicles in that queue to pick up. And so any use over here would we're recommending that it operates the same, that it doesn't have an ordering station because of that worry of backing into the drive aisles. And sorry about that. And that completes my report. I'm available for any questions.
Mr. Debo?
Yes.
Okay, just go back to the outstanding issues real quick. Yeah, right there. So just to be clear, these are outstanding issues because you need us to make a determination because you don't necessarily have a big issue with any of these outstanding issues. It just falls under our authority, not your authority to approve a modification. Is that correct?
Absolutely. This site meets parking, meets landscaping, design preference manual standards. And you're correct. We have no concerns with these modifications because it is similar to what the Planning Commission approved with phase 1.
That's just what my point was.
Yes.
The reason they're outstanding issues is not that you don't want us to improve them. It's that they are under our purview, not yours. And to me, all 3 of those issues are, 2 of them are being consistent with what's next door. And the larger sign is on the building itself for groceries, potential grocery store use seems to make a lot of sense to me. And then can you go to the next page, which was the not the outstanding issues, but the one that showed about the drive-through. Your point about the drive-through is that's why you want it to be a conditional approval in the sense that you're fine with a low intensity drive-through like the Blaze Pizza that you're talking about, or like if it was a pharmacy pickup or something like that. But because of the queuing, you do not want you feel a super intense drive-through like a Starbucks or more like a fast food where you order and are picking up at the same time. There's just not enough queuing there. Is that correct?
That's correct. I see it more of a please be advised type of condition. It's certainly if they did get a use that did have an ordering system they would have to come in and amend the site plan. But it's on record, it's a condition. Again, it can be modified with an amended site plan and the design potentially modified if they wanted to. But I view it more as a please be advised condition to the applicant and to anybody else picking up this project in the future if they do amend it.
I don't disagree with you that it's probably good to have that on the record. Just because, yes, under the particular use, like the Blaze Pizza, it's a fine use, but if you would switch that to something else, I could see it being highly problematic. And Lord knows that people have referred to the Starbucks drive-through so much in Westminster, it's not funny. So yeah, that's all my questions. Does anyone else have any questions? Members?
While that picture is up, can you point to the dumpsters with your cursor? I just wasn't quite sure I could.
This
Okay.
is the close-up view here.
Okay,
Here are dumpsters. And then
Probably-
the dumpsters for Outback are actually screened. They actually did provide the type of screening that is consistent to the elevations themselves. It's really the two
Okay.
locations behind the building.
okay,
And as the applicant will point out, this goes up in slope as you go over to North Center Street. So you can imagine you won't have much view from North Center and certainly not from 140 to view the dumpsters.
right. Probably the only view will be people going through the pickup window, coming
Yeah.
around the back of or the delivery people coming around the back of the building, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's really the main traffic flow to the back of the building would almost be just deliveries and those couple of pickup lanes, I guess.
Exactly. You have, if
This
somebody's
one.
driving through this queuing, they would have to exit in this
Yeah.
direction.
Okay. No other questions. I believe there are some, I believe I saw a couple faces that maybe some from the developer or some of his representatives may want to say something. I'm not sure who's here.
If I may, this is Mike Aldo, work with
Sure.
MFI, who's an agent of the developer, the applicant. Yes, I'll take a couple minutes. First of all, thank you, Mark, for the comprehensive overview, and also for your constructive feedback over the last, feels like decades, but I guess few years, and then to everyone else for joining. But yeah, just to build off of what Mark had said earlier, a number of sort of call outs he had for us. The pickup window, completely agree. There's sort of this new concept of basically what we have at Blaze Pizza, which is there is no ordering at the window. It's one of the mobile app. I'm sure many of you use that at Starbucks or Chipotle. And basically this is becoming a ubiquitous sort of concept, a necessary concept, call it a function of the pandemic. But really it was in motion before. It just kind of got pulled forward and is becoming much more really a critical, almost requirement for a lot of quick service type restaurants. So yeah, we don't anticipate significant stacking. And if all of you have noticed at Blaze Pizza, as Mark pointed out, there's rarely more than one or two cars, picking up their food. Maybe you sit in the parking lot or order from home, and then when it's ready, they ping you and then you pick it up. So we don't anticipate any stacking concerns there. As far as the dumpsters, I think you covered it well, Mark, and some of the questions that were asked. But yeah, in effect, we don't anticipate any visibility north or southbound from 140, nor even within the shopping center. The patrons and will be parking sort of in the front of the center, and there's a natural buffer behind us with the we call it the stormwater and the forest back there. But so there'll be very minimal visibility really with anyone as far as the dumpsters go. But the enclosure we did intend to conform, and with the feedback from Mark and his team, we did sort of upgrade that design. But nevertheless, it's not going to be seen by many, if anybody, other than sort of personnel and the garbage, the trash removal crew. Mark, remind me what else was I to cover as far as the project's concerned?
If you can discuss the setback of the building, the phase 2 development versus the phase one and kind of highlight that a little bit? Because I know that was brought up in this and as well as discussed in one of your modifications.
Sure, thank you. So so as Mark is referring, what he's referring to is that the phase one project, which I think everyone here is familiar with, and several of you had participation in that too, and we still appreciate that, is the CVS and the 16,000 foot retail strip center. That's what we're calling the phase one. That is closer to 140 than the proposed phase two. And the genesis of that is because if you recall the first phase, we had designed anticipating a car dealership basically to the north, to the phase two. I think with the success of phase one, that's been embraced by the community and by the retailers. Were fully leased. The restaurants are actually doing fairly well. In fact, above projections in most cases. Well, for context, the scale of the second phase is, approximately 36,000 square feet on the retail strip with a proposed anchor in the middle there that you saw, in addition to the 4,000 plus or minus square foot Outback Steakhouse. So the second phase is larger. The retail sort of strip centers, comparing those two, it's actually more than double the second phase compared to the first phase. And so parking, which already feels a little squeezed just because of, especially during peak hours in the first phase, the second phase, having the extra couple rows of parking it's going to relieve a lot of pressure. And frankly, for us to attract, the prominent type national tenants that we'd like to, they're going to frankly require that level of parking, the additional parking that we get from setting the building back a little bit further. Additionally, the drive aisle in the back, which is really an alleyway, is, if you drive back there, you'll notice is much wider than sort of normal. And one of the reasons for that is because the original design was to serve car transport trucks, frankly, that we're going to be moving back and forth to the car dealership, to the north of our project behind the retail. Well, obviously now that we're proposing this retail project for phase two, no longer do we need that significant. Frankly, it would be a wasted area in the back. Kind of adding parking in the back is awkward, as many of you as sort of consumers probably recognize, even for personnel or employees. It's sort of it's not great. It's not a great solution. So for all those reasons, that's why we are proposing. We think it works better to set the building as we did.
I have one question for you, sir. Just with the transition that you have from, the upper row of parking, you're coming straight across from lot one to lot two, so there's no awkward transition there. But on the lower level or the next aisle down, you kind of almost have a little bit of an S. You kind of, are there like stop signs there, or are you just hoping that people transition from one to another? Because like if I'm coming across from lot one, which is where I'm going to be coming from, because that's where the only entrance is, how is that whole traffic pattern there going to work is my question.
Yeah, that's a good question. And basically the way we're envisioning it, so if you're going towards, northbound, so to speak, behind retail phase one is what you're describing, into access phase two, and then you have the drive aisle that sort of bisects the two, phase one, phase two, you have Blaze Pizza on one side, which sort of has this natural curve, right, for its pickup window. And you're going to sort of veer or turn into the drive aisle leading into phase two. Well, we think that's actually, sort of a calming, natural buffer, if you will, to frankly slow down traffic as opposed to sort of a straight shot. So we don't anticipate there's going to be, issues with that, meaning that, the cars are just naturally going to be slower and, basically riding their brakes going into that. So in many respects, we actually think it's going to relieve pressure as far as circulation goes, as opposed to all the traffic coming through the parking lot from one side to the other. Having said that, if for whatever reason we saw that it was an issue, we certainly easily install 2 or 3 stop signs at that spot, which tends to be to solve a lot of problems if we need to. But we don't think it's necessary. It's not the end of the world if we have to at some point, but we suspect it's not going to be an issue.
So you're gonna, that's an option to install the stop signs, but you're gonna kind of see how that goes. I get your point that to a certain point, it's gonna act as, calming, traffic calming, because up top, you have a good point. The top aisle, I mean, you have a long strip. I mean, someone can just, go right through there, and that can kind of create a problem. It creates its own headaches from a pedestrian safety standpoint. So I got you. It's just a little bit awkward because of the fact that, in phase one, you basically, you have 3, rows of parking, and you have 4 rows, in phase two. So, but I mean, it makes sense. I understand why you're doing that. Also, lot 2 is deeper than lot 1. So you have more ability to do that as well. Okay.
Hey, Dan, Martin Rickle, how you doing?
Hey, Martin, how are you?
Good. Hey, and Mike, just so you know, there are stop signs shown on the site plan for that. The city did require us to put stop signs in there. So there's stop signs showed on all those. So it's a stop condition, plus it's also traffic calming.
And I'm going to have to add that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just going to have to add that to the budget. Thanks, Martin. I didn't realize that was going to be included, but that's okay. Sure, that's fine.
They're already on the plan. They requested them, required it for our approval when we went through.
Gotcha.
Martin, where are the stop signs exactly? Are they on, is it like a 3-way stop there, or what is it exactly?
I am looking, Dan. I know it's 2 on the main drags going through. I'm not so
Okay.
sure the other one.
It might just be 2. I mean, I would think that would
Just
make
2.
sense,
And again,
because you
that's
wouldn't have any
requirement.
coming this way, going up and down. It would be coming across, I would imagine.
Correct. And I say that was actually a requirement for us to get through the process.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And for everyone else, Martin Rickville works with CLSI. They're the engineer of record on this project, representing us and development group and the applicant.
Would that be 4 total stop signs then? 2 for each lane?
No, I think it's just 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, Martin.
Yes, it's just 2.
Yeah, just 2 along that
Okay, just
bottom where
None on the main lane through there. Okay. Just on the one where there'd be the S.
Where there's a jog, yes.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
But late at night, Kevin, if you want to speed there, and drag race across the top there.
Well, I guess they'll be adding some speed bumps if that becomes the case, right? A la other shopping centers. Yeah, okay. Anyone else have anything to add? Or any additional questions? Anyone else want to speak on this? All right.
Lindy, Tyler, any comments?
I think it looks good.
Yep, I'm good.
It's a very attractive plan. It's a very nice plan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So in the interest of time, I think, Mr. Devo, you wanted to do this as 2 separate motions. So for the benefit, I've got my screen up here. I'm going to read this motion. The first motion is for approving the modifications that you need Planning Commission to approve. So this is the motion I'm going to make. I'm going to move that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve a modification to the Development Design Preference Manual to allow a 6-foot tall white vinyl fence around the dumpsters to match Westminster Station Phase 1. That we also the proposed building mounted sign of 125 square feet for the 17,838 square foot center tenant space for the retail center building, that we approve that sign, the 125 square feet. And then also that we approve the proposed freestanding sign of 114.4 square feet for the property phase 2, as outlined in the site development plan S2116 staff report provided at the May 18th, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. That was a mouthful, but that's my motion.
I second it.
It's been moved and now it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carries. It sounds unanimous to me, Mark. All right, now we need a second motion.
Okay, I will try that one since I have it up.
Thanks.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve site development plan S2116 based on the staff report and subject to the conditions of approval provided at the May 18th, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, as well as the note, and I don't have it on my screen, but the note regarding the use of the drive-through lanes shall be for pickup service only and shall not be for use for ordering or more intensive use. That's my motion.
I second it.
All right, it's been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I got one question for the developer, just out of curiosity. When do you plan on starting to move forward with construction?
About 2 years ago. We
Got
would
that
love,
time machine handy?
we'd love to start late summer. That's probably an aggressive, target, but we're all working our tails off to make that happen if we can. Thanks to your support, we're still on track.
Okay, great. So sometime
Very
this year, hopefully. Okay,
That's the goal.
great. It's a
Great
very nice,
to-
nice looking project. Sorry.
Appreciate
Yeah, it's nice to hear the first phase is going well.
It is, and the community's embraced it, and tenants are happy, which makes our group.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, I see no old business. I see nothing left. We can do, I see
Is
no,
there the county report? If
The
there-
Carroll County, liaison report.
I see, okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, I skipped past that. I'm sorry. Sorry, yes. Carroll
Sorry
County
to rain on the
Liaison
parade. Just some
Well,
quick,
it was in small type. I went right to the big type.
no worries. This will just be quick. The first update I have for you guys is we are still working on the last part of our comprehensive rezoning for the text. We are hoping to transmit the agriculture and conservation zoning text to the Planning Commission in June. Next, we are putting together the annual report at the county as we do every year. We turn that into Maryland Department of Planning in July. This report is just a summary of all of the development and other things going on in the county and municipalities. If anybody would like to see a copy of that before it's sent to MDP, just reach out. I'm happy to send you a copy. Also, the county is currently processing two Westminster annexations, one for the state's attorney's office and one for the Malcolm Drive Medical Center. Those are expected to go to Planning Commission on June 1st and then to the county commissioners on June 9th. Lastly, with some changes at the county, we are switching up the liaisons for you guys a little bit. Unfortunately, I will no longer be your liaison. You will be handled by Price, who is awesome and very knowledgeable of Westminster, and you guys will be in good hands. I've enjoyed working with you all, even though I only got to see you in person once, but
We've enjoyed working with you as well, Hannah.
thanks.
Yeah, yes, it was a very memorable meeting.
Yeah, to say the least.
If I was there.
Try to forget it. I understand.
All
That's it
right.
for me. If you guys have any other
Thank you.
questions.
Any other questions from anyone? All right,
Sounds good.
all right. Now I see no old business. I see no informational items. But there may be a commissioner item or a staff item that they'd like to discuss.
If I may, Hannah kind of stole some of the thunder, but We are tentatively scheduling the 2 annexations for the state attorney office and 404 Malcolm, as well as a text amendment for microbreweries in the PI zoning district, subject to additional regulations for the June Planning Commission meeting. And also the hope is that the June meeting will be live. I believe we're trying to get all the commissions live in June. So we will see each other next in June. And that's all I have.
All right, that would probably be the 9th, I guess, right?
Yes, June 9th.
Okay. Any members have anything to add? Discuss? All right. Well, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Moved and second. See you all in a month.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Maybe, for real.
Good one, everybody.
All right. Good night, Mark.